those issues, and I don't see the Democratic Party really focusing. What I see is them just fighting, just like trying to just block everything. But I don't know what principles they stand for. Like one of the things that I think should be a priority is that Gen Z is not able to afford anything, can't afford homes. They can barely afford their rent to stay in apartments, and neither party, I think, is doing enough to address this problem. And it is pissing me off because that's a cornerstone. If you can own something here and you have skin in the game, you're not so mad at everybody. Think about it.
Really?
If you could be
$1,000 a month for property taxes
and still buy a condo, maybe you would feel like you have something to lose, as opposed to just you don't have anything. And if you can have something that you own, then you can feel and you have a decent salary, then you might feel more free to find a partner and get married and have children. Like, I really think the source of all of it is just that people are not able to have the things that they have seen other generations have, and it makes them feel really hopeless. I don't think it's helpful that both sides call each other names. It's not productive. I feel like we're not getting anything done. And it just, the rhetoric is coming to the point where people are talking about civil war. So it's very upsetting. But I just want to say too that
people say all kinds of shit. Don't mean it's real, dummy.
Matter to Americans and not other people. I'll give you an example. I live in California. In Los Angeles, I couldn't believe it. It's still very, very Democratic, so I don't want to give the wrong impression. But I just saw some data reported that 30,000 people just registered as Republican in Los Angeles, and that's probably because of how Gavin Newsom handled the Palisades fire. The Palisades fire.
I will. Can you just repeat what started that? She said how many people?
30,000. She said 30,000 left, and she thinks it's attributed to
30,000 left California.
No. Registered, left the Democratic Party and became Republicans. And she thinks it's attributed to the way Newsom handled the Palisade fires and the recovery process and the way that the homes and I know she's referencing, but go ahead.
This is interesting.
This is what I like, and I say this respectively. I want to say that this is what I don't like. Like, you don't even know what I said, and you're so ready to jump on me. And this is not me being a victim. This is just me pointing out behavior that I said.
No, I'm not ready to jump on you. I was ready for you to repeat what you said because I'm definitely looking it up.
Okay, yeah.
That's why I jumped in. Nothing to do with what's going on here right now.
The man that destroyed California.
That's her.
He did not destroy us. I love Gavin Newsom, and Gavin Newsom is gonna save us, Lisa.
Oh my God.
Okay, I want her to complete this because I'm looking it up. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah. So in Lee County that Republicans haven't seen significant gains in California, and the reason why I bring it up, even though it's relatively small. People who registered Republican in Los Angeles were 30,000, and only 4,000 people registered as Democrat at the same window period of time. So I think that that's a really strong indicator that Democrats are not really delivering. I think that they are ignoring things that are happening in their own backyard, and I think people are just getting tired of people saying that they don't see what they see with their own eyes. And I live in California. I know people who were adjacent to the Palisades fire, and it was really handled very terribly. And a lot of people.
What aspects do you think were handled terribly? I know what the pushback was here. I just want to hear which ones you highlight.
They didn't have available water. That a lot of the tanks. Well, the tanks were empty when the fire happened. So that was one. Another thing is that there was some spotting of a brush fire. I think it was put out, but was species. They don't want to cut down brush that is that is highly flammable because of some sort of blocked from getting cleared. So it makes everybody in danger of fire who lives in that area. And then finally, so Gavin Newsom is clearing it for low-income housing. Now that's great for the people who need low-income housing, but just think about all those $1 million homes. They get very little recovery money, and now like to
We're covering so many things, we're not gonna be able to respond to all.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Haitian.
Go ahead, Haitian. One mic on Haitian.
Yeah, come on.
Wow.
I looked it up about how the shift, and there's nothing. I have found nothing. So can you please put the link of the people who are switching to Republican in California? You said 30,000.
I'll try.
Because I'm going through here right now.
Lisa, can I make a comment?
One thing that's
Haitian wanted to go. Haitian wanted to go. Yeah.
Lisa, can I make a comment?
the only thing I see is the Latino.
We got one mic on Haitian. What do we do? One mic on Haitian.
Hold on, that wasn't finished.
Oh, you wasn't finished, Lisa?
The only thing I see is political. There's an article in political, and when everything settles down, I will go through that article in political. Okay, go ahead, Haitian. I'm passing the mic.
Haitian, go ahead, bro.
Lisa, I put the link in the chat. She's
I
accurate.
think maybe he swiped out by accident.
He's accurate.
Oh, he's back. Yeah, go ahead, Haitian.
Go ahead, Haitian.
No, it's interesting. You bringing up low-income housing.
I just love how people just are so quick and ready to
You think go on mute.
Okay, he was on mute when you were speaking. Come on, Pink Pill.
No, I found it interesting that you brought up the issue with low-income housing, but then you brought up people not being able to afford homes. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of funny.
It's not my opinion. I said that I'm just saying for the people who are there. No, listen, because I'm putting myself in the shoes of people who lost their home from the fire, did not have insurance, and there's no way to recover it. I'm just telling you what their sentiment might be. I didn't give you.
Can I ask you one real quick question if I could? So I think you went over a whole laundry list while all the fires were Gavin Newsom's fault. In that list, I didn't hear.
And that link has nothing.
I didn't hear the D word.
Very much wasted my.
I didn't hear the drought. You just glazed over the fact that they were going to California at the beginning of the year, so they're a bad drought.
Sir, I live in California. And there was no drought, sir. I live in California. We weren't in a drought at the time. You can check if you don't believe me.
I mean, we had a firestorm, and that there's not enough fire trucks, enough water to put that type of fire out. Like, I'm born and raised in Southern California.
Me too.
San Diego to be specific. And San Diego has always had a little Republican, hold. Like, when I'm right now at the beach, right now at PB, if I go into a t-shirt shop, it's going to be Trump shirts. They always had, on our bay, they always had Trump parades. That was when he first got it out the first time. So San Diego has always kind of been on the conservative side. They don't even have certain concerts here. We don't get any real concerts here because it's so conservative. So yeah, because San Diego is very conservative. We have Alpine, Clan T. You know what we call it, Clan T, Santee, because the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan used to live there for. So San Diego is kind of a conservative city. So, but as far as that fire is concerned, we always, we have those storms. There's no way he handled it the best way he could. There's no way. It's so many experts from even different cities, different firefighters from different cities have said there's no way that there's not enough water fire trucks that could control that type of fire with the winds that we were having. Right, that Santa Ana was hopping, and then we have people starting fires. All these people who hate California because they can't afford it. Get out, brokey. Like, and is this setting stuff on fire? How can they control that? And you gonna? It's the truth though.
No, she's not. She's
so many
right.
people here that are broke that don't want to leave. There's so many people that need to move to Texas because they can't afford California. That's here, and they hate California because they sit on their ass and then they take advantage of opportunity, and they're broke as hell, and they hate Cali, but they can't leave Cali. We have so many of those type of people, and I'm ending with that.
Let me say this real quick. Hold on, one second.
Before you do, can I just say that
No, Pink Pill, give me 1 second.
You cannot.
Pink Pill, give me 1 second. I'm gonna be brief though. First of all, there was a drought. 100% there was a drought. I don't like misinformation, right? California was experiencing drought conditions during the time of the Palisades fires in January 2025. They gave me the exact rating. It was considered a moderate drought D1 or abnormally dry D0, right? So we absolutely were experiencing a drought during that time period, one.
Thank you, Gemini.
Two, the Santa Ana winds were hitting during that time, which they do every year, right? The Santa Ana winds are an annual occurrence, right? But this time it hit a little differently. We got winds up to 100 miles per hour, right? That doesn't normally happen. So that's why the fires were jumping so far. You have an ember from one location, jump to the next location, and it's unpredictable. And it makes it a lot harder for the helicopters that would normally be out to dump water or whatever fire retardant on top of those fires to be operable. There was a couple days where they couldn't even fucking move, right? I lived out here. I got evacuated during that, right? So I can tell you right now, when you look at that, you cannot blame Gavin for what happened. You cannot blame Gavin for what happened. I'll be the first to do it.
The fact. And I want to
it's just not just
Hang on, Pink Pill. Hang on. I think Sue was talking. Thank you.
You know, I'm listening to people.
Oh, go ahead, CEO. Yeah. I don't know.
Just give me 7 seconds. So I just want to say that what Pink Pill is saying, all her points are debatable. So please don't treat them like this. I've heard them many times. People have argued about these things. I'm not saying she's right, but don't treat them like conspiracy.
The drought is not debatable. The drought is not accurate.
You said she was accurate, and that article doesn't say what you said. The uptick since 2021 wouldn't reference a fucking fire that just happened this year.
Right. That's what I said, Quinn. Thank you for wasting my fucking time reading that article.
That's a stupid thing to contend. And it also says that independent registration has declined somewhat. That's exactly what it says at the very first section of the article.
Yeah, thank you for wasting my time. Hold on for just a second. Hold on.
This one, there you go.
Okay, well, I read it. I guess I don't think we don't read.
It's a date
About California, for all the Californians who live there. California is not Oregon, and it's not Seattle.
Greetings.
It is not a green state. Southern California is a fucking desert. I went to a place they call San Jose yesterday. It is so fucking dry out there. I thought, good Lord. One side were the fields where they were planting shit. I don't know what kind of crops they were planting. And the other side was brittle, dry, the natural part that hadn't been farmed or touched or whatever. The hillsides, windmilly things are, all those hills, all that grassland in California is fucking dry. It is not a green state. When is the last time it's rained in Southern California? Quickly.
It did
I can't even think about it.
It wasn't a rain. It was a sprinkle. It was
That
not
was a
rain.
sprinkle. We don't get no rain out here.
Absolutely right.
I'm in LA traffic right now. It is sunny as hell.
You're right.
It is not raining. What you call rain. We're talking about rain. The kind of rain they have in Seattle, the kind of rain they have in Washington State and Oregon. You guys don't get that kind of rain.
The type that can be measured in
The
inches.
fucking desert, okay? That's why there should not even be allowed to have lawns and shit in California where y'all niggas get out there and have these green ass fucking lawns back in front.
Not too much on the green lines. You done went too far. You don't went too far.
Come on, be
I'll
honest.
pay Jose a lot. What are you doing?
It's not the line. It's the brush.
And you wasting all that drinkable water.
I pay Jose good money to keep my shit green. What are you
It's really
doing?
not. It's not the line is the brush, and you know people would like. Pink Pill was talking about them not cutting down stuff. People, a squirrel, I see a deer, but they gotta cut that down because that's a risk for fire.
Correct.
Those homeowners will protest that because they don't want to look at an empty canyon in their backyard. It doesn't look pretty. They'll protest even getting that brush. Like they only this certain amount of inches from my home. I shouldn't have all this brush. And what would that make us look like? Arizona? No, they want to look like pretty California, and they will fucking go and they'll go against cutting down the brush because they don't want their house to look like that. They don't want the scenery in their backyard when they're looking into the canyon to look like that. So you're right. That's what it is.
Also,
You guys who live in California, you guys need to go back and look at the history of California, because when my parents decided to retire in Manhattan Beach, I started studying California, even though I had an auntie who's already lived there for just about all her adult life, okay? And now she's in her late 60s, 70s. The history of California, when they started with Hollywood Land instead of Hollywood, and the drive to bring people west into California, they marketed California as a place where you go to get better. Right? I'm gonna get that whole thing about that guy, that XY. Have you guys seen that place XYZ something? They marketed California as an oasis, but it was all man-made. Do you know palm trees are not even from fucking California? That they brought that shit in, but
you
now
sound like a real hater right now.
I love California. What the fuck?
You're telling us not to water our grass and all, like.
But she's right. This is how Orange Mouth got its name.
California geographically was not made for the way it's being
They listed Southern California as the end of the Owens Valley.
That guy.
That was Owens Mouth.
Had to build that.
I thought Owens Mouth must have been a hell of a hole.
Way down from Owens Valley just to bring water into California. And then that shit broke. And then the water is not evenly sourced in California.
It's coming from the reservoirs.
From fucking Oregon and Washington State.
It never made it to California.
I will say this, Lisa. We have to like, we get these notices that tells us like on Tuesdays and Thursdays this summer we're not allowed to use our water. Or you're not allowed to use your water after 5 o'clock, and you can report your neighbor if you see them and they'll get fined. I still do it anyway. I'll pay the fine because my shit ain't gonna go brown. But at the end of the day, we do have water shortages, and it's very severe, and we get these notices all the time, right? So when somebody says it's not a drought and they live down here, I'm like, how? There's no way you live down here because we get this in the mailbox every day.
Okay, Gemini, what I'm trying to say is I just cross-checked.
Pink Pill, maybe you didn't hear me before. Pink Pill, Sue was waiting. You can go after her.
And what I want to say to all of this bantering back and forth, what's not being said, is that Caruso, who wanted to be the mayor, who lives in Brentwood, has a private fire department that put out the fire on his property in the Palisades and didn't save anything else around his property, did nothing for the community, has a private fire department in Brentwood for himself and for the residents of Brentwood that pay for that. But this is the person that wants to be able to tell us how to recover from these fires, because he's going to come in and put in manufactured homes and help people who cannot afford to rebuild. So I want to first put it out there for those of you that think you're going to tell those of us that live here how the fire is affecting us and how the rebuilding efforts are happening and how the monies are being allocated, who's getting it, who's not, where the insurance is happening, where it's not. I'm here to let you know we're living it. So before you go ahead and say what the decisions are that are being made, speak to those that live it on a daily basis. Because right now we have the largest construction project in the country going on. Right here, under my nose and Gemini's nose, the largest flipping construction job in the country right now. And if you think that's being funded by nothing, come again.
And it's happening in Altadena as well. And if you think there's no insurance paying for it, if you don't think there's government assistance happening, think again. So I want to say, Pink Pill, before you start spewing what you're spewing, get your facts together. I, too, am right here in LA County. Now, I agree. We've had a water drought for many years. It didn't start yesterday. It started 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and Lisa was spot on. Southern California was sold as the end of the gold rush, and this is where the water was going to end. And if you come to the San Fernando Valley, there are streets that run right through here. One is called Owens Mouth, and it got its name by the people that founded it, and they said it was going to be the end of the Owens Valley. The water never made it here, ever. So all of this stuff is out there, but what I don't appreciate is false information from people that live in other counties trying to tell us the way in which things are being managed here.
Okay, real quick. So, because I double checked at the beginning of the year, I double checked with my references. By early 2024, California was largely drought free. Last gotten out of the drought. So I will cede that point. The other thing that I want
Can you show us those references? Because I've never heard of coming out of a 10-year drought. We always had a drought.
Okay, if I could, early 2024, between January and April, California was largely drought-free statewide, with 0% of the area in droughts as of late March. This followed strong winter rains and snowpack measuring 110% of historical averages by April 4th, ending a 1,000.
Your link that you're
Yeah, please put the link in, because I'll put in the link in that shows that we were in a D1 drought.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah, I can definitely prove we were in a D1 drought.
Wait,
Thank you.
Okay, if I could for a second, I don't know why you guys are getting angry. All I did was go into Brock and
You were asking for facts. Thank you.
Nobody's angry.
I am, and I'm giving them to you. So I asked Brock, was California in a drought in 2024? So if somebody would go, listen, this is the quickest
She's
way.
right. She's right.
I love you. Come on.
Can I please finish? Like, this is my, I go on and on because you guys don't let me finish. I really only have 3 points. And if you just let me finish, then we can move on. So, like I said, we were not in a drought, but we had come out of a 1,332 day.
Yes, correct.
And so that is correct. That is a fact. Okay, if I could just finish. In 2024.
For God's sakes, let her finish, please. Thank you.
Let her finish and then help, because she's actually right. But go ahead.
Okay, so by mid-2024, conditions remained mostly normal to abnormally dry in isolated areas. By late 2024, a slow start to the rainy season led to drought expansion. By November 14th, it was abnormally dry. So you guys are right in that at the time of the fire, there was a drought. But in general, by 2024, we were all celebrating because of the long drought. We had more snowpack and our lakes had filled up. We were very happy about that. I also, just FYI, I was born in Los Angeles. I was raised in Lancaster, California, and now I live in Temecula, California. The other thing that I wanted to say in regards to what happened in the fires, I was not there. And I'm very sorry for the people who experienced frustrations with going through that. I don't want to talk to you guys like you're just, like you just don't matter, like you're just like fodder for a debate. I am sorry for what you're going through. So in Los Angeles, where the Santa Ynez Reservoir in Pacific Palisades, with a capacity of 117 million gallons, was reportedly empty at the time, and that's according to CBS News 2.
It was under repair. We knew about that.
Okay, so, and then finally, in regards to Republican people registering for Republican in California counties, I just wanted to say, so for between February 24 and February 25, GOP registrants, because California has to report. It doesn't have to report, like, I don't think in real time, but they do have to report. So GOP registrants as of February 2025 in Los Angeles County, they had a net gain of 83,552 new registered Republicans. In Orange County, 38,101. San Diego, 31,875.
Thank you, Bill. 30 seconds, please. Thank you.
Okay, Riverside, 33,709. And these are all California. This is from California elections data. San Bernardino, 30,000. Sacramento, 15,000. Santa Clara, 12,000. So thank you.
Kill y'all ass. I want you to be clear though. However, when you look at the grand scheme, right, 30,000 compared to how many
people is there?
How many people, and compared to how many actual Democrats? This is predominantly a Democratic county. When I say predominantly, I mean like 80%. So maybe y'all can.
Hey, Jasmine. Yes, I'd love to speak with you. Hope you're having a pleasant evening.
Being defensive, note the change and maybe look into it.
No, because we got a lot of people that need to move.
And no. Right now, just so y'all know, right now, Los Angeles County is in a drought, and a severe drought. It's actually a D2 drought. We're always in a fucking drought.
We're always in a drought, and there is a lot of Californians that hate living here, you guys, because they cannot afford it, and they need to move to Texas. Go ahead and move. Get out of here.
Go ahead, Trent. I know you've been getting in there. Go ahead, man.
Tell us about the aliens, Trent. Tell us about the aliens.
Hey, guys. Y'all want to talk about aliens?
Please leave your message for 773-517-5431.
Hey, Jasmine, it's John. You texted me. You said you wanted me to speak, so I'm speaking. Call me back or text me. Hope you're having a good night. Bye.
That my mother had with no fucking insurance. Y'all just go to
And
Texas.
then driving off and pulling away.
Where the losers are.
Right, go to Texas, Arizona.
Get the fuck out. I'm in badass LA traffic right now. If y'all don't get the fuck out so I can drive.
Crazy. I almost got sideswiped to my girlfriend's car. Y'all need to get the fuck up out of California.
Get out.
It's so hard.
Get the fuck out.
Leave.
Listen, Gemini and Lisa, I'm at the beach looking at the water.
I'm in LA traffic, and this looks like a parking lot on the freeway right now.
Right, where are you at, Trent? Are you on Go ahead, Trent's right here.
I'm on the border in Mission, Texas.
One guy out there,
listen,
some superhero,
a lot of the things said
all those
was
years.
accurate in the terms of
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
the idea that the drought, like this is Pinky, I love you. Shout out to
Well,
Temecula.
they might not be public about it.
And my mom was listening to you. The idea that the
I
drought.
thought this was where the wineries are. And that's a desert. For real.
Temecula's a desert.
We cut down our brush. We have beautiful wineries, and we don't.
They have a great
It's hot as hell.
Please allow Trent to finish one and all.
Trent, please give us your wonderful submission, sir.
I am about my boy. Shout out to them Dodgers. This is a game and a half up. Look, the reality is the net 80,000 in Los Angeles County is a drop in the bucket. It's not changing shit. Because, to everybody else's point, so many Republicans are moving out of the state and coming to Texas and Arizona and Florida and other places. So while there are some small gains, the idea that California is going to flip blue isn't anything, right? And so, but here's what's up before you get too high and mighty. When we had Hurricane Harvey in Houston, the county was Republican and the surrounding counties were all Republican. Post that disaster, and this happens a lot after major disasters, the county shift blue. Now we have Hidalgo, who's in Houston, who is a Democrat in charge. The county flipped because of the anger and the way the situation was handled. So can it happen in certain pockets? Absolutely. The entire state, highly unlikely. All I want to say, and let Sue talk shit. She knows more about California than most of y'all. Take care.
Did he just leave again?
That's why I be ready to throw his ass off the stage mid-sentence. I'm doing that next time just so he can't do that shit.
Go ahead, jump in, Sue. We want to hear from you.
Hey, Lisa, I'm telling you, I'm going to throw him off mid-sentence next time just so he can't do his little grand exit.
Exactly. But he does that in everybody's room. I was in a room with him yesterday.
That is so annoying.
That shit annoying as fuck. Go ahead. Who was about to talk? Sue?
No, I wasn't, but that is so annoying.
Yeah, that shit is annoying as fuck.
It's really annoying.
Because we can't
really
respond to anything that he says, so it just leaves us here trying to figure out what he meant was going with.
Right. There's no explanation, no further. Like, let's keep moving so we don't even center that.
Okay, so how did we get on this? I don't even know how we got on California, but
because Pink Pill left the
Pink Pill came in here and gave us all those wonderful statistics.
Yeah, she left the left.
Do y'all know how many people is in LA County, just for a reference?
Oh, millions.
9 million, almost 10 million. 9.6 million people. 30,000 is not shit.
Right.
Okay, so let's try to recenter ourselves here. I was trying to remember how we even got there. It's just really weird. I'm just blanked out completely. Okay.
Can somebody bring up Aram?
Sure, Aram. Let me see. All right. So they're talking about shutting down the government. I think we have another till the 30th, I believe. And the conversation that Don Lemon was having with Cory Booker.
Can somebody mod your honor? I'm driving. Can somebody mod your honor?
Here, please.
Yeah, I didn't see you guys. I'm sorry. Hold on.
No,
I left, but I didn't understand. Okay, so there you go. So Cory Booker was saying that they won't even talk about, they won't even have discussions with the left. So I don't know how you guys feel about the government shutting down and the benefits or the disadvantages of it. We can talk about that.
Could you give us details on that, please, if you don't mind?
Oh, I can redo this clip because it's very interesting.
Okay,
and I'm telling you guys to listen because it was very interesting what Don Lemon and Cory Booker were talking about. Cory Booker's gained a lot of weight. I don't know what's going on with him, but anyway. Hold on.
That's because he's engaged and happy.
Same thing. Got engaged.
Yep, he's engaged and happy.
Wow. Well, he needs to get a little bit sadder. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me find He's just a little bit too plump for me.
I agree.
All right. So we were listening to... There we go.
He gained that weight when he didn't pee for 3 days.
That was funny, right? When he stood up there and we don't... Let me give Cory back his credit. Let me put my crown. It takes a lot to sit up there and talk that long.
Man, with an adult diaper on. Go ahead, bro.
Damn. Okay, hold on, y'all. It's coming. YouTube, Cory, Don Lemon. Here we go. Hold on. And it's just a hot mess. And then we were going to go and listen to the critique that they had. Trump literally embarrassed y'all in front of the world. In front of the world. I mean, just literally, whoo, Jesus. You talking about 2 steps forward and 150 steps backwards. He literally embarrassed us in front of the world. We have lost credibility all over the world with that shit at the UN, that speech he gave.
He said the world never respected the United States more. We've never been in a better economy. We've never had better pricing than right now. So don't do that.
And then I got this article that I was reading yesterday, how the CEOs are even scared to speak up about how horrible the economy is. They're scared. Literally saying words like fear. Okay, here it is. Let me turn it up.
So it's the two.
Wait, somebody else is talking. 100% back. Too many people. Oh, no. I gotta put that on hold.
My understanding is that the president agreed to a meeting with Democratic leaders and then canceled it. Yeah, stunningly. Are we going to shut down? Look, how do you? There's no way to get this bill done. They control the House, the Senate, and the White House. But the only way to get through the Senate is by getting at least 7 Democratic votes. I'm not going to give my vote away without them doing something in terms of negotiation or compromise. And what the Democrats asking for is do something about the tens of millions of Americans who are seeing their costs go up, their health care become more expensive, or losing their health care.
Somebody was just
Because of the things that you've done. Donald Trump has been in office for 9 months. America is poorer, and America is sicker or has less access to health care. So I've never seen like this. The other side won't even talk or engage with us, even though there's only one way to get this done is together. So for Donald Trump to cancel a meeting, for the Speaker of the House of Representatives to dismiss the House, to send them out on recess until after the shutdown date is just stunning to me. And it shows me that they want to drive our country into a government shutdown. What's the point? What is the point? I don't understand. I mean, they have succeeded in bullying their way, stealing power. We see case after case going up to the Supreme Court because Donald Trump is being an authoritarian executive. He doesn't believe he's president. It seems like he's trying to be all the constitutional power to himself. This is the process. You have both sides of the both Article 1 and Article 2 branch have to do it together. But he seems to want to do it his way or no way. And that's what the problem is. He's got to be willing to negotiate. I'm glad you mentioned Article 1. I saw Hillary Clinton on a morning show this morning discussing that. It was a very interesting conversation. She said everyone should get pins that says Article 1. See if the Republicans wear it. Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I'll be honest. I have private conversations with Republican colleagues sometimes where they point out that what they're seeing the executive do is not right. I've heard comments about the tariffs and the pain they're causing members. I've seen them comment about excess not being qualified, or that you signal out, put out on a commercial app battle plan, but not in public. They won't say it. But that's the point. They're not doing it in public. They're not calling hearings. They're not doing the job of checks and balances or oversight of the executive. And so if you're basically saying Article 1 will do nothing to check the presidency, you are literally undermining our constitutional framework and turning him in de facto into more powerful, demagogic, authoritarian leader. And so I know this. Jefferson said it so powerfully around the founding of our country. When the people are afraid of their government, there's tyranny. When the government is afraid of the people, there's liberty. Well, what happens when senators are more afraid of their government, their president, than they are of the people they represent? Yeah. That's the problem we have right now. Yeah. The Affordable Care Act, the tax credits, I hear that as a sticking point. Democrats want that in there. Republicans are saying no. Is that the main sticking point or a major sticking point? I'll be honest with you. I'm not giving my vote away for free. Do something on health care. There's a lot going on. You have these looming Medicaid cuts that they conveniently pushed out till right beyond the elections. Well, those are going to hurt millions of Americans. You made other cuts to health care before you even get to the Affordable Care Act. Will you restore those? Will you fix the Affordable Care Act? There's a lot of things that could be on the table, but we aren't even at the table. Donald Trump is refusing to sit down with us at a negotiating table. The leaders of the House and Senate are refusing to sit down with us. That's the thing that's surprising me. I've been here for 13 years, and when we do budgets, we do them in a bipartisan fashion. We have passed 3 bipartisan budget bills out of the Senate. They haven't gone anywhere else, but we've shown that we have the wherewithal to do bipartisan budgets. The American people should not see their government shut down. But this president and the Speaker of the House, by their actions this past week, seem determined to do just that.
Okay, so what do you guys think so far? They're not even trying to talk to the Democrats. So what do you guys think?
So I have a thought related to his UN appearance, and I think it connects back to this story with not meeting with them. So there was a story that came out in the Times. Trump strikes radically different tones in public and in private. So we all know what he said, at the United Nations, and he talks so tough, blah, blah, blah. But it says, in the decades since Trump burst onto the political scene, world leaders have learned to use the two versions, have gotten used to the two versions of the American president. There's the public one who shows up in speeches, social media, and the private in-person one who's often conflict averse, eager to accommodate in one-on-one or smaller conversations. So, wait, let me get to this quote of what he said. Okay. Hold on. One European diplomat with a seat at the Security Council said that colleagues were trying to engage with Mr. Trump on points where they spotted willingness to address various threats. They lined up afterward to secure one-on-one meetings with him. In the speech, he talked about, I've negotiated so many peace deals. So when he met with the UN Secretary General, what the Secretary General told him was, you've selected peace as a central objective, and you've been going north and south, east and west, in all possible situations, getting or trying to get ceasefires, alleviating tensions, making peace agreements, and then he came out of the UN saying, actually, no, they shouldn't give up any land and we have to respect their sovereignty. And so, when they met with different leaders, like one of the leaders was saying, Trump is absolutely right, we're on it. Okay, and then, he met with... Oh, and then in Kamala Harris's book, she talks about when she called him after he got shot in the ear, she called him to check on him. And in the book, she says, he told her, you've done a great job, you really have. My only problem is it makes it very hard for me to be angry at you. It's like, what am I going to do? How do I say bad things about you now? And she wrote in her book about this, he's a con man. He's really good at it. I'd readied myself for a phone conversation with Mr. Hyde, but Dr. Jekyll picked up instead. So anyway, my point in saying this is like all these world leaders have figured out, and then they applauded like his crazy UN speech. So these world leaders have all figured out, you've got to cozy up to his ego, tell him what he wants to hear. Oh yes, Mr. Trump, absolutely, Mr. Trump. And that's how you kind of butter him up. And then if he feels like he's getting the respect he deserves, you can work with him, right? Whereas if you take a tougher approach, now he thinks you've disrespected him and you can't get anything out of him. But just to bring it back to what the topic, the difficulty here is that that's fine for world leaders, maybe even people in his own party. But the Democrats, by virtue of their job, they're literally the opposition party. They don't have the options to go out there and say, actually, Mr. Trump this, and he does care, and he's great. So they can't play that game. So therefore, with his fucking ego, they can't get anything from him because they can't play this game that other people are playing.
Anybody else want to add to this?
Yeah, he's basically, imagine a 3-year-old who's picked up a loaded weapon. The 3-year-old likes judgment. And it's kind of nuts. But they're holding a loaded gun, right? So you're going to kind of do whatever you have to do to survive the situation because it's clearly dangerous and there's a lot of power that this 3-year-old has, but they're not even really sure what they're wielding or how they want to wield it. They're having all the different impulses that a 3-year-old has at any given moment. So, 1 second they might be focused, another second they're not. One moment they're excited and happy, the next one they're throwing a tanty. And that's basically what we're dealing with right now. There's no art of the deal, right? There's no negotiation to be had because the man doesn't even have a principled stance as to what he wants. There's no modulation well, we can reduce our demands this much to find a compromise. Because it's just not even about those details. He does not care. So, Democrats are in a tough spot
where essentially they have to shut down the government. And the Republicans may very well want it in the short term because that's what, the 3-year-old with the loaded gun wants. And they're just as afraid of the 3-year-old with the loaded gun as anyone else. They're just kind of hiding in the corners, hoping that they're, out of the firing lane or whatever. Whereas the Democrats have to do something about it because the thing about last time, right, actually wasn't that they decided to not shut down the government. The worst thing that they did last time was they had no strategy until it was 48 hours before that Schumer started to shift his opinion from, we're going to give in to, hey, everyone, we really got to give in. And so instead of the story being about the Republicans and, their intransigence and their malfeasance and all this shit, it became about Schumer being a punk and this Democrats in disarray argument. And once again, we're moving towards this moment, and there isn't clear messaging about what should happen. And I almost care less about which choice they make than the fact that they make a strong, robust argument that stands up to scrutiny and looks like they actually know what they believe in and what they care about, and that they're going to make that principled stand, right? That people are going to have to contend with one way or the other. And it just feels like they endlessly surprise themselves by being in the middle, and it's crazy.
I would say this: if the Democrats take Aaron or Your Honor's advice, and someone like Cory Booker, whose seat is always safe, I would say for those who are vulnerable, I think that's a bad idea. I think also often others should not go along and try to shut down the government.
That wasn't even my advice. Did you just hear what I said?
I
said they should have a clear strategy and go with it.
My opinion is, look, they should have a strategy. They should try to meet with the president if they could and work something out. If you do, you're gonna. I think again, your chance of winning the Senate is pretty low. I think at this point, but you're going to give a supermajority to the Senate. Is that Deborah? I don't even know.
Did you know that they tried to meet with the president and literally before it was supposed to take place, he canceled it? Did you know that?
So I know that Mike Johnson was on Fox News and he had a different opinion. He also had a press conference a few days that I posted. So I don't know.
How do you have an opinion about a fact?
Mike Johnson is lapdog.
What's wrong with you?
So Cory Booker is Spartacus, and he's very dramatic. So I don't really take Cory Booker very seriously.
Dude, the news reported it was shut down. It's not Cory Booker.
I don't trust Cory Booker.
You don't have to. There were lots of people who reported it.
The news reported it. Clown. The news reported it, not the senators. The news reported it. What's wrong with you?
The Democrats are not trying to have a serious conversation. Period.
That would be the dumbest.
How do you know that?
Because everybody knows that.
Because everybody knows that.
That's not an answer.
Incredible.
Because guess what? Don Lemon is saying crazy stuff. Don Lemon of all people.
You a fool, boy. If this real, Don Lemon ain't the only one reporting it. Go to a credible news source, clown. You don't have to get it from
It's not a credible source.
Did he did shit?
Wasn't he the same one?
But
said
wasn't
that
he
Donald
talking
Trump was
to
an
Cory
FBI
Booker?
informant?
You were talking to Cory Booker. He was talking to an actual person who's in. Oh my God, he was talking to Cory Booker. He wasn't sitting up there like he was making this shit up. I don't understand. Cory Booker said the meeting was canceled. So you're saying that he's lying? And what would be the benefit of him lying about that?
You want to play the video that I posted? You can play the 6-minute video.
Mike Johnson is the same guy that said that.
Apparently, you can't keep your. Apparently, you don't have 6 minutes worth of listening in your brain.
I think we should hear a different side.
You still got it wrong. You can't concentrate for 6 minutes.
Let me just say this. Hold on a second. Let me say this, Omari, please. Mike Johnson told everybody that Donald Trump was an FBI informant, and that's why he hung out with Jeffrey Epstein so much. And then the lie was so overblown and ridiculous that the next day he had to backtrack on it. So yeah, he's not credible.
Okay, so
I was about to say,
we can find Spartacus comments. We don't want to go there because he's a fool.
Miss Deborah was 100% accurate. The news reported that Donald canceled the meeting about reopening. However, even more importantly, Donald himself went on Truth Social, right, and said that he canceled it because he felt that the Democrats' demands were ridiculous and not worth talking to.
Thank you.
Yeah, but Jim and
So hold on.
What do you mean, thank you?
What do you mean, thank you? You just said that he didn't cancel it. Yeah, you're dead
I
wrong.
never said the word he didn't cancel. You definitely didn't hear the word. I said that he.
Boy, would you stop playing around with words?
Miss Deborah, you were right. Bottom line, you were right.
What you misheard. Hold on. I can clarify. I'm a grown man. I can clarify what I was stating. What I was trying to tell you guys is they weren't trying to negotiate in good faith. Exactly what they're not trying to negotiate in good faith. It's ridiculous demand.
Yeah, I came off mic is because you said they should try to have a meeting with him. That's why I came off mic to report that they tried to have a meeting and it was literally canceled when they were on their way to the meeting. It got canceled. That's why I came off mic.
Again,
that's why I came off mic as well.
They should try to meet, but they're not trying to work with him. Stop the misinformation, Omari.
I'm talking about the. See, that's why I know you guys don't follow. You guys don't follow or listen. You can only hear.
I just told you. You're the one not listening. I just told you why I came off the mic. Because you said what they should do. The Democrats tried to have a meeting with Donald Trump.
Exactly. That is what you said.
And I responded directly to your comment. They tried to have a meeting. He canceled the meeting. Now, what is wrong with your thinking? Where's your free thinking, sir?
Okay. Matt, I know Matt's the only one that's honest.
Just a second. Hold on a second.
I said vulnerable.
Hold on 1 second. Deborah, it's not good for you to shout and to scream. Now, I'm not saying that to tell you what to do. I respect you too much.
To be spoken over.
I understand. And I don't want you to wake up hoarse and you can't sing in church. So, Omari.
Hey, I just placed an order, and I actually meant to place it at the Milwaukee location. Yeah. Okay, I apologize. Thanks. Yep, that's me. I understand. I trust you. I appreciate it. Love your food. Thanks so much. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Right now, you absolutely said they should try to have a meeting.
Well, sometimes I don't put my words together correctly. So can I redo it like Scrabble? So what I was trying to say, Deborah, is I was talking about the vulnerable ones, because maybe I might have jumped into like multiple conversations, and that might have thrown me off, and I apologize if that was the case.
I wasn't thrown off. I responded to what you said. So don't tell me maybe that's your hold on, you're continuing to gaslight me. I didn't misunderstand what you said. I responded to what you said. I did not. You say, okay, before I stop talking, you're gonna say, okay, didn't misunderstand what I said. If you're not going to say that, then I'm going to keep saying, come up here and say whatever you want to say, and then it's supposed to be true.
You're not going to gaslight me and say, because you could have just went on and kept talking. But when you say, I misunderstood what you said, or I didn't understand, you're a fucking lie, and I'm not going to let you get away with it, sir. You're not getting away with it.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll take that. That's a good call out and good feedback. I appreciate that. What I would say is I was talking about the vulnerable Democrats, not the ones that have safe seats. And if it didn't come off that way, then
okay. And then you keep going from there. Don't interject. So, Deborah, you misunderstood what I said.
You're right.
No, I didn't.
You're right. I'll take that back.
And don't ever do it to me again.
I'm sorry, Miss Deborah. I hear you. Loud and clear. Noted. Is that fair? Grazie.
Yes, sir. That's fair. Thank you.
Maybe something else I'll say just in relation to the shutdown, because a question that I had was, why was the prospect of a shutdown so unacceptable to, Chuck Schumer and others in the first few months of his presidency, and now it's a more viable option? But someone made a really good point, I don't know if it was this room, about the context, which is that when the first prospect of the shutdown came up, it was in the context of Doge. And, they were trying to lay off people and shut down as many agencies and privatize and whatever. And so if the shutdown happened in the Doge context, then they could have done a lot more, a lot further, a lot faster. But now the Doge program has been scaled back and it's been absorbed into broader administrative, restructuring and whatever. And so because the heat has come down a little bit on the pressure that Doge was posing, it's a little less scary, the prospect of a government shutdown. Is that true for that?
Well, the problem is that they already did most of what was there to be done anyway. Like, all the NIH grants that they were going to be able to cancel, like, they did it. You know what I mean? Like, they sabotaged the government in so many ways. Like, basically anything they didn't like is sabotaged. So, what, are you going to sabotage it more? I mean, I guess it's possible, but a shutdown government or a not shutdown government isn't going to, like, make the Department of Education functional.
Right.
Like, it's already dysfunctional. So, my take on this is, personally, right? And again, I stand on what I said before. The best thing the Democrats can do is have a clear strategy, message it well, and stand on it. Whether they're going to shut it down or keep it open, strong strategy is absolutely the way. That I will go with either one. Just be strong on it.
I'm a full-time writer, and I'm finishing the end of a Rihanna today. I'm going to bring you guys along with me. This is called a rattlesnake, right?
I was going to
looks like the rattle on the end of a rattlesnake. I'm going to pull these strings out of the plastic bag. They've been in there overnight after having been soaked in a little bit of water, and that just makes them pliable and easy to work with. I'm going to straighten these strings out here with my arm. Now I'm going to take my knife. I'm going to take one of these strings and make a slit.
Like the people that were laid off,
all the other strings are going to go through that hole.
Because the departments are like non-functioning, and so basically they just got like paid leave. Do you know anything about that, Your Honor?
So you keep stacking them in here, one on top of the other, on top of the other. You're going to see how this starts to take shape here in just a second. This is the last one that's going to go through this hole. I'm going to use my pliers here just for the convenience of pulling it through. And I'm going to pull all these down one at a time.
I'm seeing this from the AP. Trump administration rehires hundreds of federal employees laid off by Doge. And this was a story from September 24. Yeah, today. The General Services Administration has given the employees who manage government workspaces until the end of the week to accept or decline reinstatement, according to internal memo obtained by the AP. Those who accept must report for duty October 6th. After what amounts to a 7-month paid vacation, during which the GSA in some cases racked up high costs passed along to taxpayers to stay in dozens of properties whose leases it had previous determination or allowed to expire. Ultimately, the outcome was the agency was left broken or understaffed. Said a former official, they didn't have people they needed to carry out basic functions. So much for efficiency.
7 months paid. Did they get their full salary?
Paid vacation is inefficient. That's very efficient.
What's up?
It's a good use of the. It's a good use of the tax dollars.
Oh my God, Matt Cool's department.
That's the only one that I high five on that one.
Matt is in the department's always retired. Yeah, Matt. It's normal day-to-day stuff. Sure.
Let's do it. All right. You look terrific, you know that?
Thanks.
Yeah. You see the shopping bag.
Okay, so I'm good for that. I'm glad we got paid. Somebody came up. And I'm glad. I'm not even mad about that. The other money that we're wasting on dumb shit like that. I'm sorry you guys don't get mad. But the way they were moving that particular person's box around, spending all kind of tax dollars with the transfer, like he was a military or state official, we have to pay for that. Certain people around with all those extra security. Never mind, y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm going to get deeper. Yeah, for not even, you know what I'm saying? Child been voting on that. And then he wants a statue, and he wants a holiday, and everything else. And some schools are putting in the chapters when they're not even being asked for, and having those chapters at their schools. So it has been pushed on you. You don't even have a chance to vote on shit that's important. I would never want to tell a school that you have to have a chapter such as that there because the governor wants it. Let each school vote on it, or let the parents vote on it, but not. We can never get away with that on the left. Never. Putting stuff in mandatory Bibles, mandatory schools, mandatory CK chapters. We can never get away with that.
We need to pay for that shit. What is the White House without a ballroom?
Yeah,
How did they survive all these years without an expensive ass ballroom?
I mean, I know he's funding it himself, but I like the man's priorities. $200 million for the White House ballroom. Never mind what he could have done, with that money for an altruistic cause. If apparently he just has the FU money, $200 million for a ball. A ball, a dance ball, like what is he gonna? Maybe is that like foreshadowing for him? Maybe he'll return to reality TV and it'd be like a judge on like former presidents can dance or something, or convicted felons who became presidents can dance or something. I don't know. Maybe that's a big picture.
Or maybe that's where he's going to celebrate his 2028 re-election.
There you go. That part. Lord help us.
Oh God, this is scary. Okay, so do you guys want to listen to this Dr. Carr review Trump's appearance at the UN?
Let's do it. Let's get it.
Okay, we're gonna get this. I'm gonna stop it. It's not that long. Dr. Carr just goes into just highlighting just the craziest shit that happens, stuff that I even missed. So let me see if it's okay. I haven't been in it.
African Heritage Day. If you want to give a look into that, today is a day when South Africans are encouraged to celebrate their culture and the diversity and traditions in a wider context of a nation that belongs to all of its people. So shout out to them. If you're from there, I know we got a listener in the building who's a South African national. Shout out to you. Yes, and good to see you, Dr. Carr. It's a good word. How you feeling? All right. How you doing? I'm coolin', man. Just waiting on these guys to Shaka Day. It used to. Shaka Day is what it used to be known as in South Africa. South Africa is a wonderful example of how overwhelmed by nationalism with a sense of our common humanity. Their national holidays often reach into their memory and restore some sense of collective memory. So, like you said today, Heritage Day, drawing from Shaka Day, which is, of course, the Zulu people, one of the language-speaking groups with the Sotho and the Swana and the Xhosa there, and so it brings them in. Youth Day is actually the day in July which marks they observe the country, police attacked and killed young people in Soweto. They take the day of the Sharpeville massacre and turn that into a national holiday. And it's just, a nice exercise in how you really do try to create rituals that bring everybody in. Their anthem, of course, because the Sigilele Africa is a hymn, an original hymn that was turned into a resistance song, and they integrated it into their national anthem. Of course, they kept a stanza from the Afrikaner language speakers, which makes it a kind of unwieldy anthem as far as I'm concerned, but it is a gesture, I think, that speaks to the attempt to build something different. The same spirit that caused 80 years ago the countries of the world to come together to form in San Francisco in 1945 the United Nations. That was one animating spirit. Of course, the main animating spirit for the West was trying to build a structure that could keep them in charge for another few years, and that has worked for them too, at least in a general sense. But I must say, not only happy 80th birthday to the United Nations, shout out to Bozo. Yeah. Bozo showed his ass cheeks in a way yesterday that I think set a new standard, a new global standard. I mean, I just, I know we have some audio of Bozo's speech, but in order to really enjoy it, this rambling that took over an hour, just about an hour, generally each world leader or their representative is allowed around 10 minutes. They don't cut people off. After all, it is the United Nations, but Bo spoke for about an hour yesterday, and it was magnificent. In fact, this morning, overnight, Jonathan Lemire and Missy Ryan, writing in The Atlantic, the first sentence in the article Trump did, the United Nations democracy now, is the world laughed at Donald Trump. Do you think he noticed? Do you think he notices when the world? Here's the thing. We're talking about this just before we went live. I think we are closer than ever to the 25th Amendment, and I'm not saying that because any of Trump's lackeys. I mean, looking at little Marco yesterday at the United Nations, his face more and more a mask, as he certainly knows that the history books will certainly write him down as a purebred lackey. But in real time, he will live, it seems to me, to see his utter humiliation, not only on the global stage, but on the domestic stage as well. He won't ever be president, Lil Marco. But I think he's oblivious. Yeah. I think it's great. I mean, he's more and more sitting in the White House when he does have meetings. He doesn't have any meetings. He's never had many meetings, but he has fewer than ever now. He can't walk in a straight line. He is clearly just unwell. He appears unwell anyway. Right. And this move against Jimmy Kimmel with his, how can you be a lapdog and a lord and master at the same time with that nasty piece of work at the Federal Communications Brendan Carr is, I think this might have been the thing that tipped them over. Even the hillbilly Ford realizes that they could be next. In fact, they may be in the crosshairs. We saw Ted Cruz with his bad mob boss impressions, and Joe Rogan has finally crawled out of his spider hole to speak. Now that it appears that it might be safe to actually criticize this administration, at least around the First Amendment, but their signing pen is leaking ink. I mean, so I don't know. If you listen to the whole speech yesterday, you will hear it's not only unwell. This is a guy at this point you might have to, sit down after replace. Because man, this dude, man, I know we got some sound. We can jump sound. Yeah, we can jump in. Here, he actually he's speaking to the people who he's questioning. Flip for him.
I didn't think of it at the time because I was too busy working to save millions of lives. That is the saving and stopping of these wars. But later I realized that the United Nations wasn't there for us. They weren't there. I thought of it really after the fact, not during these negotiations, which were not easy. That being the case, what is the purpose of the United Nations? The UN has such tremendous potential. I've always said it. It has such tremendous potential. But it's not even coming close to living up to that potential. For the most part, at least for now, all they seem to do is write a really strongly worded letter and then never follow that letter up. It's empty words, and empty words don't solve war.
Yeah, that was perhaps one of, if not the most coherent. Do we have clip? Do we have clip 6? No, not clip 6. I'm sorry, Daryl. Let's go with clip 7. This was a particularly feisty moment for Bozo.
When your prisons are filled with so-called asylum seekers who repaid kindness, and that's what they did. They repaid kindness with crime. It's time to end the failed experiment of open borders. You have to end it now. See, I can tell you. I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell. In America, we've taken bold action to swiftly shut down uncontrolled migration. Once we started detaining and deporting everyone who crossed the border and removing illegal aliens from the United States, they simply stopped coming. They're not coming anymore. We're getting a lot of credit, but they're not coming anymore.
Yeah, Bo is off the chain. Yeah, he definitely told these people, all these sitting prime ministers, former, your country's going to hell. But I love this line. It's really something that probably should be. It'll probably be on T-shirts or some, maybe even White House T-shirts. I'm really good at this stuff. Bozo said, in this ramble, Bozo said he stopped 7 wars. I mean, you can see people literally grimacing. And then he said his millions of lives. His poll numbers are the highest they've ever been. They're actually the lowest and going down. And by the way, parenthetically, about 32% of those eligible to vote in the United States of America voted for Donald Trump. 62% of those who were eligible to vote actually participated in the election. So y'all can stop talking about Republicans won, the majority. Yeah. About a third of the people who could vote voted for MAGA. Okay, so y'all can stop that. But see, this was not the United States of America Bozo was talking to yesterday. It was the world. The world, yeah. And even as he denied visas to a number of people, and even as the rest of the speakers, and if you watch what they call the general debates, you can look at it on the UN website, you can find it on YouTube. Protocol, kind of informal protocol suggests that Brazil speak first. And so Brazil, because they volunteered to speak first at one of the earliest General Assembly meetings, so they've been given private places. So Lula da Silva spoke first yesterday. If you all go into the UN website or YouTube or something, you can see Lula's remarks, which were about 13 minutes, if memory serves me correctly. It was very balanced. He snapped the issue out of the United States of America around the previous president. He talked about trade and trying to use things. He stood up for Venezuela to say, y'all out here patrolling and no, you can't tell you stop the drug trade. And then Bo came, because typically the host nation will speak second. There have been a couple of times when the General Assembly and the General Debate was held in Geneva, but generally it's in New York. Note, of course, that that Mahmoud Abbas, or the Palestinian Authority, was not issued a visa. So he was not able to speak in person. He won't be able to speak in person. But of course, they had a 2-day summit prior to the opening of the General Assembly and the General Debate this week, at which France, England, a couple of countries recognized the Palestinian state. It's not stopping the international killer, Bibi Netanyahu, who is continuing to wage war through his Israeli Defense Forces. But it's pretty clear now that the entire world, as Dr. King might say, the whole world, is against Israel and the United States on this issue of slaughter. But Bo was really unhinged. Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, spoke yesterday. I think Tinubu, or his representative, Tinubu's not coming from Nigeria. His second in command is speaking, I think, today, this afternoon. But generally speaking, it's really something to hear these delusions coming from Donald Trump.
When you hear his voice, it reminds me of when you're in the shower and you're trying to get yourself ready for work, and you're talking out loud, but you're in a room full of people. You're in a room full of people who you're talking about. Now, unhinged doesn't even really give it that's an understatement. Unhinged is an understatement when you hear his voice.
It's just, I think you may be on to something. Loopy. I mean, loopy, what you said before. Yeah, he's definitely loopy. He's definitely loopy. And I hesitate to say this, but I'll say it anyway, only because you never know in a climate like this when the dawn breaks. But as we are students of history, it could very well be removal of Jimmy Kimmel, which if everyone remembers who listens to Urban View Mornings, we talked about last year when ABC bent the knee and made that completely indefensible concession of giving him those millions, which he brought up this week, when they should have gone to court and broken his legal back. Well, moving against Kimmel, which of course is Project 2025 through and through, the nasty piece of work Brendan Carr's wet dream. This may have been the overreach that causes the fever to break. Yeah. Because because there are people who were with him who aren't with this, and by this I mean the overreach on free speech, or what they think is so-called free speech. And so they're like, wait a minute, like you said, if you cover him, then who's safe on either side? And so even with on any side, any side, I'm afraid that's a duopoly as a binary. They're crazy, and they've been crazy, and they've never had a majority of the people. And they back the F up, because in the longer this remains an issue for Disney, they're not out of the woods yet. Their stock dropped. People canceling Hulu and Disney Plus. So they had a major campaign this weekend for people canceling ad instructions and everything. And I think that hemorrhage of subscriptions leaving had a lot to do with their decision to try to attempt to rectify or reconcile by inviting them back. But what they still didn't fix was the partnerships with Nexstar and Sinclair, who said, well, just because he's back, we still preempt in many of our markets, and one of the markets being here. So he came back last night, and it wasn't even shown here in the DC area, in the DC market. Did you watch the whole monologue? I did not. I didn't get a chance to. Okay, I watched it, and his writers did a superb job. One of the things he addressed is very interesting. At the very end of the monologue, he said, well, Disney has a statement that they'd like me to read. He reaches into his pocket for a folded piece of paper, which may or may not have had anything on it. I think it was for effect or anything. And then he read instructions for rejoining Disney Plus and Hulu to the laughter of the crowd. He did mention that among the places that Nexstar and what's the other one? Sinclair have said they're not going to run the show, where his wife's hometown, I think she's from St. Louis, his mother-in-law, and he apologized. He said, I guess you'll have to go to YouTube. As of the time we went to air this morning at 7 a.m. on the East Coast of the United States, there were over 5 million views on YouTube. And then he went on to, it was a master class. Really, it was the defense of the First Amendment. I thought the cameo appearance of Robert De Niro in the role of Brendan Carr was hilarious. He brought in him to be the new mob boss appointed at the FCC. This is after he slapped the ish out of Brendan Carr. Maybe we have a clip on that. Maybe we'll play that in a second. But directly to your point as it relates to Nexstar and Sinclair, the white nationalists, and I just want to pause here and lift them up and thank them for revealing to people who may not have been paying attention. And by the way, Bob Reich on his Instagram, not his Instagram, what do you call it thing, on his Substack, goes under his headline, "The Sleeping Giant is Awakening." I think may have it right when he says that he's been a professor and an academic and a policymaker for over 60 years, and he's saying this may be the moment when people start paying attention. But I want to thank Nexstar. I'm sorry, I want to think, I keep messing them up because they're the same in my mind. Sinclair, and what's the other one? Nexstar and Sinclair is the two. The Nexstar and Sinclair. I'd like to thank them because they're overreach. They're white nationalists overreach. People like John Oliver have been on them for years. You know, we've seen that commercial where they all say the same thing in their editorials. Well, you've reached your limit, my friend. And while people won't cancel the local affiliates, I think your attempt to quadruple down on this imaginary white silent majority, one that is clearly not expressed in electoral politics, and maybe later in the show we'll talk about the Arizona seat that the Democrats retained overnight in an special election out there. Now the margin is down to 2 in the federal legislature in terms of the MAGA Muppets' ability to block legislation if all vote the same way. But they won't play their hands. And there is, after all, there are many other options other than watching your local television network. Yeah, that's true. And I think, as Kimmel said last night, The president, after playing a clip of Bozo saying his numbers are terrible, Kimmel replied.
I mean, think about it. If Ted Cruz can't speak freely, then he can't cast spells on the Smurfs. Even though I don't agree with many of those people on most subjects, some of the things they say even make me want to throw up. It takes courage for them to speak out against this administration, and they did, and they deserve credit for it. And they're telling your followers that our government cannot be allowed to control what we do and do not say on television, and that we have to stand up to it.
Yeah, his writers. Oh, okay, I thought it was. Yeah, his writers. It was very interesting. I mean, he thanked obviously people who stood for him first, of course, Colbert and them, and then he thanked a broader range of people, and then he thanked the people he with. Mm-hmm. He name checked Candace Owens. He name checked. It was very interesting to see. And then, of course, he thanked the general public. Basically, what Kimmel's writers did last night, was curate an army through the proxy of the First Amendment to slam these guys. This is the thing where I think the Project 2025 crowd, the religious ideologues, he name checked, of course, the runt rooster over at the Pentagon, who talks about Pete Hegseth, who is now telling people not to answer reporter questions about general information, not even declassified or unclassified information, not to give them information. Basically, what he did last night was curate people in a way to create a situation where you're revealing these people for exactly who they are. There's a collection of bigots, religious ideologues, and lustful billionaires, and that's not going to bode well for them in the continuing electoral cycle. And I saw Kimmel and them do a great job last night.
Masterclass, and it's not going to go away either. And I think for him, what they did was the unintended consequences. It's kind of a reset for him. This is a starting point for if you weren't checking for Kimmel, now you are, or now you're back to, and it gives him a chance to do. I feel like push the envelope even more. Even though it got emotional and some of it was a bit of an apology regarding specifically the comments he made about the alleged shooter of Charlie Kirk. Can we play?
I'm not sure it was an apology. You want to play that clip?
Yeah, 13.
Yeah, let's hear it.
What I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I posted a message on Instagram of the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it. I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make, but I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way.
Exactly. I didn't hear an apology.
Well, the tone is very apologetic. Yes.
I heard a clarification. I think every word in what he said was so carefully and precisely selected that he will hope that those who are against him, because they are feckless, deliberate misinterpreters of his intent and his sentiment, I think he hopes they will be persuaded to understand that they are incorrect. But the first line that I think is the definitive line: if you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. Mm-hmm. But that having been said, let me offer you an olive branch, because what he then did was to go on and clarify what he said before. I said, I meant it then, I meant it now. I think everybody does. Nobody wants to see anyone be killed. He goes on to talk about not supporting violence of any kind. It can't be done. Mm-hmm. I think the closest he may have come to a sense of apology might have been when he localized it about the shooter, which was, of course, the point of entry they used to misinterpret how he was going about what he said. And then he closed off with, if the roles were reversed, I would have maybe I would have reacted the same way. What roles are those that may have been reversed?
I think when specifically what he's saying is, if
Charles James Kirk. He did. Exactly. I think this language was so well selected. And then, of course, he went on to finish off that piece of work at the FCC written the card. Do we have that? Yeah, we got that too. Yeah. 10 years ago, this sounded crazy. Brandon Carr, the chairman of the FCC, telling an American company, we can do this the easy way or the hard way, and that these companies can find ways to change conduct and take action on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. In addition to being a direct violation of the First Amendment, it's not a particularly intelligent threat to make it public. Ted Cruz said he sounded like a mafioso. Although, I don't know, if you want to hear a boss make a threat like that, you have to hide a microphone in a deli and park outside in a van with a tape recorder all night long. This genius said it on a podcast. And by the way, if you caught it at the end, that Bozo was over the FBI coming straight. But at any rate, in other words, if you had a functioning Federal Bureau of Investigation, that's how you would catch a bypass, but we kind of don't. So, shout out to Gage, who caught us straight in jail, but got us straight, but all right, let's, we got a comment on Jimmy Kimmel, 866-801-8255. Let's go to Florida, start in Florida. Talk to Jamie. Jamie, welcome into the program. Top of the morning. Hey, gentlemen, how are you doing? Good, so good. Jamie, how you doing? Glad, man.
All right, you guys. There you go. That was a long ass clip, but it covered everything that I want you guys to hear. Any comments, questions, or did I bore you to death?
No, that was not.
Come on, you guys. It's early. Jump in there. This is Cool Great Out. Mike. Hi, Mike. I see you back on stage. So what do you guys think about that? Loved it. Mike, you actually loved it?
No, I just said hi, but I have nothing to say too much about it.
Okay. All right. We can just move on to other news. Hi, everybody who's still left on the stage. That was a pretty big clip, but that pretty much was my whole sentiment about what happened at the UN with Donald Trump. And it also summarized what happened with Jimmy Kimmel. Did anybody actually see that? Because it was not in my market either.
I didn't see it live, but I see it on YouTube.
Hey, I need to go check it out. I need to really go check it out. So, are you disappointed that he's back, Mike?
I was disappointed that he's back. I mean, again, I think that was I still think that he was wrong by even approaching it. I think that most people that have been approaching this, and you kind of pretty much know where the administration stands. But that being said, I do believe that freedom of speech is important, no matter what side of the aisle you stand on. And
I love it.
Violence. But these are American tenets. So I'm not saying anything that's new or groundbreaking.
So you're saying that Trump was wrong? You're saying that they were wrong, period, for taking him off the air? I love it.
Well, Trump. Trump's hand is not in this. We have to, the.
Oh, it's not.
The chairman, if I could land my plane, the chairman of the FCC is the person that has to be held accountable for this ABC and their affiliates. I think that's the conversation that we should be having to try to politicize this and to constantly try to throw Trump on his bus. I just think it's interesting.
Come on, Trump his FCC. Okay, somebody else jump in. I'm tired of hearing my
Yeah, this is fucking stupid. First off, that man is appointed by Trump. First off, what are we doing? If your direct report does something, you're responsible for it. This kind of lack of accountability from the right will just forever tickle me. It is so funny.
What accountability do you want?
If you have a direct report and they do a thing, you are fundamentally responsible for what they do. So if you don't like it, you can discipline them. You can tell them to do something different. You can throw them under the bus. You can make it clear that you believe something else. And of course, in fact, Donald Trump did none of those things. And if you read his dumbass Truth Socials, you'll see that he has also been talking shit about Jimmy Kimmel in all of this. So like the idea that he doesn't have his fingerprints all over this, and that he isn't the same person who talks about how much he hates his enemies and wishes them ill. He said that like 48 hours ago, 96 hours ago. Well, it's not that long ago. We know who this man is. We know what he's done. The only people who can violate the First Amendment in this way, like literally, are in the administration that he runs. That's what's going on here. What are we doing? But yes, I mean, that being said,
Hey Sandra, you guys something want to add to that, Sandra?
I was right there in the middle of making my
I just want to
being overspoken. You gotta love the censorship.
You already spoke twice, Mike. You can wait a minute.
Okay, but Sandra didn't even come off mic.
I did come off mic.
I did, but you got it. You got it.
And I yielded to you.
You got it. Go ahead and then Mike, you go. That's not a bitch. That's not a bitch. But I had to see. I was talking about Mike. He said he was a you know exactly what I was talking about.
I have this administration does whatever they want to do. They can say all the horrible things they want. Somebody on the other side says anything even hinting at some shit, they lose their fucking minds. They are so full of shit. Like I said, it's burn this shit down. Y'all need to get the torches out.
Oh wow.
Can I say something? So during
So now we want more violence. There you go.
Can I speak?
I'm ready for some violence. Actually, yes, Mike, I'm ready for some violence. I'm ready. I'm ready.
No, please, Mike, I'd like to speak. Will you allow me to speak?
Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. Jesus. Speech. And he said he agreed with it. Here's the tweet. Political satire is one of the oldest and most important forms. That's why people in influential positions have always targeted it for censorship. So that tweet is actually from Brendan Carr. He tweeted that in 2022 when Biden was president and he was the FCC chair. Now, what possibly could account for such an abrupt about turn of face from Brendan Carr, from saying political satire is an important form of speech and that's why it's targeted for censorship, but it must be protected, to saying we can do this the easy way or the hard way? What could it possibly be? I mean, I know it's not Trump's fault, so what could it be?
Well, at the end of the day, I mean, again, all of this, and of course, in this room, we will never even have a real conversation about it. But well, I mean, people cut me off. I mean, I pretty much know how it goes.
Let's get to the point, Mike.
And again, we got more people coming off the mic.
Okay, no, mic up, y'all, because I always Mike, no, y'all. Woo. Go ahead, Mike. The floor is yours. And everybody, we're going to talk about this. We're not going to have people saying we're cutting them off. I accidentally cut you off. I apologize. Everybody gets 30. Wait, hold up, Jeff. I got this. Everybody gets 30 seconds. Everybody gets 30 seconds. So we can all get a chance to talk, because all of us want to talk about this. Go ahead, Mike. 30 seconds and you're on. Boom. Don't mean that you won't be able to get more, but boom, you're on. 30 seconds.
I just think it's interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, the Democratic Party and a lot of people that were on the left, they were the ones that really started cancel culture, deplatforming, and demonetizing platforms that they disagree with. This happened all throughout the Obama years, the Biden years, and even through Trump's first term. And now that President Trump has become president, and now that he has a certain level of influence, I don't necessarily agree with it, but these are how these things get to be. It's not just that Trump, people like to believe that that's what it is, but it wasn't the case. There were a lot of people, even when it comes to a lot of these social media platforms that were pro-left, that they snatched up a lot of people that were on the right, left, and right, and took away their livelihoods And even at the point when we're talking about people on these late night talk shows who refuse to interview people on the right. I mean, you just really don't see it. And so, from people that are from the far right, they're at this situation, they're saying, I mean, it's just drastically unfair that we continuously make fun of, mock, and ridicule and do hit jobs. People are going to just deny, then, hey, it is what it is.
Nobody points things out about the left. Stunning.
Okay.
Stunningly stupid.
I mean, you can call it stupid, but the conversation's there. So there you go.
I think good points. So my response to that, I don't necessarily agree or wrong that there's been calls for deplatforming from the left, particularly when you're getting into arenas of dehumanizing people or hate speech. But let's not, split the atom. I agree with you. I think the difference here is when the full power of the executive branch of the federal government comes down to bear because you're criticizing that government. That is of a different order. And actually, free speech, it's not about nobody gets anything taken away for anything they've said. It's specifically related to persecution from the government. So that's why it's not really a one-to-one comparison.
Okay. Mike? Anybody? Victoria?
I think that really
be quiet though. Okay.
No, I think that that's an interesting point, and I can receive that. But however, again, what I asked the Democrats, and this is rhetorical, what did you think was going to happen? And this is the thing that I think is very interesting, and I think that, again, no one really wants to have these conversations, but you went around for many years, you went along for many years doing whatever you wanted to do, and you just didn't think that there was going to be a clapback. You didn't think that the Republicans was going to get their lick off. You didn't think that they was going to try to get back for, again, all of the years of being the platform, not being invited to these shows, the continuous ways in which you went against them, but you didn't go against your own. What did you think was going to happen?
This is just
I know it hurts, but hey, it is what it is.
Well,
Malak, why are you talking over me? I understand why the dumbass is talking over me, but you don't need to talk over me.
And you're a dumbass.
The stunning stupidity of this, first off, cancel culture in the U.S. is as old as the fucking Salem witch trials. Like, it predates the country. Like, this is a thing that's been going on for forever. McCarthyism is a form of cancel culture, right? Like this goes on and on and on. There was all kinds of stuff going on with all the bullshit with, the rise of the right. This was the new conservative right that started in the 70s, following civil rights, and continued on from there with, all kinds of people like Jerry Falwell constantly calling for people to be deplatformed and so on and so forth. Like, this is not something that is new at all. And frankly, at the end of the day, these are people saying, I don't believe this person should have a platform, which is a totally reasonable thing to say. I don't think Richard Spencer should have a platform. I don't think Charlie Kirk's best bud, Jack Posobiec, should be platforming white nationalists all the time and then palling it up with the rest of TPUSA. I think it's weird. I think it's weird that Turning Point USA had Jack Posobiec, who palled around with these virulent white nationalists, and also Candace Owens at the same time. Like, what a weird place that is. Weird. And the idea that these people have been given platforms if they're part of certain normal society, I disagree with that. Do I think I'm going to go out of my way to try to cancel them? No, but I don't think they should have a platform at all. Absolutely not. That's not a big deal. There's people on the right who think that people who are too left-wing, shouldn't have a platform either. Okay, fine, whatever. Okay, we disagree. See who wins. Particularly in today's media environment, it doesn't even matter anyway, because there's so few shared platforms at this point, it doesn't even matter regardless. But this idea, once again, of the Republicans shirking the whole responsibility, because it's like, oh, we're not acting improperly. All we're doing is responding to the other side, is the childish, dumb shit I've ever heard. Like, I see 8-year-olds and 6-year-olds have these kinds of fights. Well, I'm not responsible. He hit me first. What do you say to kids when they do that? That doesn't matter. You're responsible for yourself and your own reactions. This is child shit. This is like literally stuff that you should have learned well by 4th or 5th grade. And they're out here trying to act like that's an actual political approach right now. It is embarrassing.
You know, it can't be childish, and again, I think we need to move the mics around. But I don't think it can't be childish because again, it's when it serves your best interest, and when most of the media, you know, especially on a national level, is left leaning, and again, you're not inviting people on the right. You know, once upon a time there was a point where that was happening, but it ended, especially with the emergence of Trump. Then all of a sudden, then it's childish when that party decides when they have power, that they're going to squeeze it to you the same way that you guys stuck it to them. And see, but again, if we're not willing to have that conversation and we don't want to be fair and balanced, and, you know, when you want to just invite all of your political friends, but none of your political detractors, that's where the censorship, that's where the cancel culture, that's where the deplatforming, and ultimately that's where the lack of freedom of speech sort of, you know, comes into play. And so I just don't understand how people are convincing themselves that you can kind of go along and do all of that, and then you don't expect your political detractors, especially once they have power, to not respond in any way, shape, or form. Not that I'm saying that I agree with it, but what did you expect when you set that narrative?
I don't agree with it, but I'm here to defend it vehemently.
I'm not defending it.
You can't compare.
Man, wait, no, I'm not defending it. Well,
Please,
I don't want you to lie. I don't want you to lie.
Well, then you can respond when I'm finished.
Yeah. Right, but don't put it out with lies. Why are we starting with lies?
You can respond when I'm done.
Okay, well, don't lie.
No. Come on, Mike. Be fair, because I allowed you to speak.
But she's lying. I don't like when people start lying.
You're not defending their behavior.
Done. But what she's done, I mean, really, because I want to jump in too, but I'm going to allow. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll keep it brief.
Oh, you don't have to keep it brief because he's supposed to go in here.
Okay, thank you. The thing is you cannot compare the behavior of a talk show host, a late night talk show host, to the behavior of the President of the United States and his lackeys. There are different orders of responsibility there. So the comparison didn't work. If you want to make a comparison of, well, the left did it, then you should be talking about how the Obama administration went after Fox News. But, oh, wait, that didn't happen.
Go ahead, Lisa.
Okay, and when did a sitting president wrangle to try to get a talk show host off the air? Literally, never. Because he keeps saying now it's gonna happen to you because it happened to us, and y'all should have known that we were gonna clap back. I mean, the things that this guy is doing in the name of vengeance and retribution is absolute. When was the last time we had a president who's just set up and just started going after everybody who didn't like him? Let's find that quote when he said, "If they say something bad about me, then maybe we should have them taken off the air, or maybe we should have the show canceled." Let me go find that quote, because I have never. You can match. We can go quote to quote. Tell me what president in the history of time has ever done that in the United States.
No, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with what I would say to you. But what I would say is this. You know, again, and I don't agree. I think
you said going back that we were going to get ours.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you have multiple people on one particular side of the aisle that are experiencing a certain level of comfort as far as being on these talk shows, the way that they're covered, the way that they're spoken to, the way that they're invited, and you have the other side. Again, the reaction beyond just what Donald Trump is doing, but even just, again, with the many people that have sharing those same sentiments and ideas, I just don't know why people are surprised. You can't play it unfair one day and then you want it fair for you the other day. And I think that people that are on the left, they sort of have a problem with that.
Yeah, you provided no example. You provided no
It's not about providing an
You
example.
provided
That really
zero
happened. There were
examples
many people that
of
were on
what
the
you're
right that
talking
were
about. There was not actually.
There were many different people that were demonetized. There were many different people that weren't invited. There were many people that weren't. There weren't many people that were not invited and still are not invited to these
Not
shows.
invited.
It's just again that is a form of censorship. That is a form of
These are so private.
I want to be invited. Oh my God!
But again, now that the right is doing what they're doing, now y'all are crying.
It's stunning. It's not. But see, what you don't understand.
Everybody's doing the same thing.
This is what's wrong with you, Mike. Let me explain to you. And Malak already gave it to you once, so you shouldn't need to hear this again. There is a distinct difference between a private company, right, deciding that they don't want to have you on their TV show, and there's a difference between that and the government saying if you don't get rid of that person, you're going to have a very hard time. Those two things are not the same. They are not like. There's a reason why the founders treated them differently, and you don't seem to understand that, which should embarrass you, but it doesn't.
One of the things that started to me is these speech that was on Twitter, that got so-called canceled. Oftentimes came from groups that were extensions of the KKK. What a bad history there, right? And in groups that directly advocated violence upon cultures, marginalized cultures, right? And people. And when you flip it around, the inverse, you don't see that with Kimmel on stage. Or you don't see that with people advocating for the rights or people advocating against governance going too far. You know what I'm saying? So really, that, like Malak was saying, there really isn't a strong equilibrium here.
This is the thing, is that these people have so lost the plot of what actually makes this country great, what actually, leads to this country realizing its highest ideals. They've so detached from that at this point that they don't even see the most basic elements of it. There's a reason why this was the First Amendment. There's a reason why it's the amendment that is the most celebrated. And you don't even understand the basic principles of it. It's embarrassing.
You don't think that someone with a platform as big as Jimmy Kimmel has a moral obligation to speak the truth about a shooter? He lied about the shooter. It's like you guys are saying one thing, but that's not the that they gave that he was suspended for this brief period of time.
So let's say you're right, Notorious. Let's grant you the point, Notorious. So let's say you're 100% right, okay? And then he's an immoral man who's undeserving of his position. Let's say that's the case. Even if that is the case, it is not the government's role to get involved and to say that you have to take him off the air. You're going to face repercussions. You could be a consumer and decide that you don't want to run it. You can even be Sinclair and decide that you don't want to run it. Both of those are not violations of the First Amendment. The problem is when the government gets involved.
Also, if we're being technical, this is you're agreeing with it. You're just saying idea was the problem. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. You broke up for me. I didn't hear all that.
Me either.
I said, so you're agreeing with what I said, but the guy that gave the interview and kind of gave him a warning, you saying that's the problem. If that had never happened, everything it could have played out the way it played out. You would have been happy with that?
I mean, me being happy with it or not isn't really the point. Whatever my personal opinion is, that's just the opinion of just some random dude on the internet. What actually matters is that the government doesn't get involved in censoring speech. That's the point of the First Amendment. I'm talking about constitutionality. What are you talking about? What you like or don't like? Who cares? You can have your opinion. Boycott it. Go yell outside of outside of Disney, ABC, whatever you want to do. Like, you have every right in the world to do that. That's protected speech under the First Amendment. But if while you're protesting outside of ABC, there's some government employee who says if you keep yelling outside of ABC, I'm going to throw you in jail or I'm going to otherwise sanction you in some way, shape, or form, that's wrong.
It's a constitutional violation
in this country.
Yeah.
I just think people are mad that the people on the right, they're just putting their foot in it. And again, I'm not even saying that I agree with it, but that's really just the way my read is on this whole thing. It's a lot of the people on the left, they did what they did, whether they want to admit to it or not, that's fine. And now that the Republicans are in the seat, they just
basic question you have to.
they just, it's almost like finesse pimping versus guerrilla pimping. That's just really
that's not accurate at all.
One party, one group is putting their foot in it way more than the other, and folks are just mad about that.
I think it's maybe one second. There's a big difference in what you're saying and what's actually happened. Like, there's a distinct difference. They're not putting their foot in it. They're overstepping constitutional boundaries. It's really, really simple. And one thing that Trump said on the campaign trail, I don't know if you remember what your great orange childish like leader said, but what he did say during his campaign trail was he was not for government overreaching or big government. The government is doing too much. We have an overreach of government. Yet, when he gets into office, he's putting people in place and backing them as they do the exact thing he campaigned against, right? So there's a lack of integrity in the way that they're moving, right?
Oh, I agree.
And to take it a step further, Notorious says something along the lines of he has a moral obligation. He's not the news. He is a late night entertainment host. I don't know if you understand the entertainment portion, but that's very relevant to the conversation, which means he has a right to give his opinion. His political opinion can be biased. He is not a newscaster.
What did you just say?
So his political opinion can be biased. Now, he might have to check. It is.
I hate that person, right? You have the right to say that.
Right, he has a right to say that. That's the First Amendment. That's not wild. If the wild to me lets me know that you don't understand. You don't understand that the First Amendment right still applies to a late night host.
All these Republicans and folks that sit up here and try to strip away people's rights. You wouldn't like it if somebody stripped away your rights and all this other kind of stuff. I told a dude one time, if you're throwing rocks at your glass house, you wouldn't want me to throw rocks at yours. Go sit down somewhere. And these Republicans, they need to sit down somewhere, and I hope they have the same energy when the tables are flipped on you. Remember, y'all keep talking about tables flipped. The good Lord says things will catch up to you, including the ugly. So when you continue to be ugly, eventually ugly will hit you in the face like the door swings on the way out. At the end of the day, you can't do this kind of stuff and sit here and do this, man. It is, trying to hold people to a moral standard that y'all don't live up to either. You got a president that talks about inappropriate stuff, touching women in inappropriate areas and all that other kind of stuff. Y'all can't sit up here and hold a moral compass that you're not walking. I'm going to say that one more time. You can't sit here and hold a moral compass that your party is not walking. That is really embarrassing. And a pastor once said that. That's embarrassing. Y'all got to get that right before y'all sit up here and chunk rocks at other people. Fix it.
So, Gemini,
where have you been for 10 minutes?
So, Gemini, So Gemini,
Can you just let what Ashton shared? Can we just let that breathe for a second?
Yeah, so Gemini, you're saying that it's okay for a platform to be biased? Is that what you're saying? I want to make sure it's clear.
There are a lot of biased platforms. Now, he has to comply with his private company and in the contract that he signed with this private company and by the regulations set forth there. All right? Those are the only regulations that he has to abide by. Other than that, First Amendment applies. Which is why they brought him back, because he did not violate his contract. And that's why they were worried about the lawsuit, because they know legally they had no standing. So they had to concede, as you should in this moment.
fuck all this shit. Yeah, real quick. Let me hop in here for 1 second, please, Your Honor. Let me hop in here real quick for 1 second. This already also been discussed in Neer versus Missouri and in New York Times Co. versus, I believe, what was that? Hold on, I have it right here. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Moody v. Net Choice. I don't know why I was thinking New York Times. Both have been decided 2 times, really 5 times to be exact, by the Supreme Court. The government cannot intervene inside of any type of news publication or any forms of media to suppress or get rid of anything that they disagree with or find harmful. It's already been ruled as a direct violation of the First Amendment and to the freedoms of press and to the. I mean, fuck the moral standing. The government quite literally cannot intervene.
And also just around this question of
Get through your stupid head.
there would be
Get that through your head.
Ash, like the idea that we'd be shocked that there's bias in media. Bias is inherent. Like, I don't know if we understand this. Like, just the editorials that you make about what you include or don't include is a form of bias. The way you talk about something has bias to it. Now, if you're trying to present something as just pure reporting and you're not aspiring to some level of objectivity, you can be judged for that, for being a bad reporter or a bad journalist or something like that. Like, fair enough. Like, that's okay. But of course there's bias. I don't think Fox News should be taken off the air because they've got a clear bias, or that MSNBC or whatever it's called should be taken off the air because there's clear bias. That bias is okay. You know, and I think in an ideal world, they're honest about the bias, which frankly, both of those channels are honest about their bias. So, like, why are you surprised that there would be bias in media?
Thank you, Your Honor. But let's say this real quick, right? ABC is regulated. They're regulated by the FCC, right? And this is the ways they're regulated by the FCC. If it comes to indecency, obscenity, equal time rules as far as political candidates during debates, during elections, and fairness in advertising, right? But not editorial content. What the FCC does not regulate legally is bias or opinions. So legally, when they started to threaten based on an opinion, they were outside of what they're legally capable of doing. Now, as far as ABC's internal standards, they have internal standards regarding tone and appropriateness, audience expectations, and legal liability. Like, they can't do defamation and misinformation and shit like that, right? But as far as having political humor, political commentary, and political jokes, or left-leaning or right-leaning political jokes, that is a part of the show's identity and 100% legal. So when we're having a conversation about you can have an opinion, that means you don't understand ABC or the FCC. Like, there's no 3 letters in a row that you completely comprehend, or you wouldn't be shocked at the fact that he can have an opinion legally and according to ABC standards.
Also, Gemini, you mentioned.
Then you remember that and said that the FCC was essentially stepping over its bounds. Ted Cruz called that out here on the news. That is embarrassing when a Republican is saying that the FCC is overreaching and overbearing. That is embarrassing. Republicans, y'all got to fix that. When you got Republicans sitting up here and saying that you're doing bad, y'all voted for this man. So when you have the blowback that you do, now you understand lawsuits matter. And I'm glad that Jimmy Kimmel, I'm glad that they're back on the air, because you shouldn't be ripped off the air simply because of what you say based on an opinion. We're not in Dubai or Qatar or someplace where it like that. So we got to make sure that people have the right to stay on the air and speak their opinion. He didn't threaten to kill, I didn't harm nobody or nothing like that. And as long as that kind of stuff is within the bounds of his contract, those kinds of things, and he's following his contract like that gentleman said, ain't nothing wrong with that. But y'all got to stop trying to cancel people and take them off the air for what they say. This is America, and y'all better know that. People have rights under the Constitution, and hopefully folks understand that too. Republicans, fix it.
Why don't you fix the shit that you did? Go ahead.
Can I speak, please, and then I'll pass.
Can talking to Maury?
I hear somebody trying to get in there.
No, Malak. I let them always bow down to Malak. Malak, go ahead, sis.
Was that Malak?
Okay, you don't need to bow down, but I appreciate that. And then I'll pass it to Amari. And Jay, did you want to speak as well?
Oh no, I've already said the Supreme Court cases that would rule over this. I mean, this whole conversation is about him being taken off the air. It's stupid based on the Supreme Court cases.
Okay, got you. So Jem and I mentioned the equal time rule. We talked about this in the room the other night. Some of you might remember. The equal time rule, so the things people are mentioning, well, you keep inviting people from the left. Why don't you invite people from the right? The equal time rule does not apply to entertainment programming. So as a late night show, it's an entertainment program. The equal time rule doesn't apply to it. As for the timing of, what he said about Charlie Kirk or whatever, Trump tweeted when the announcement was made in the summer about Stephen Colbert. I guess he wasn't tweeting because he's off that site now. But anyway, posted. When the announcement was made about Stephen Colbert and Trump was celebrating, like, yes, I hate Colbert. This is amazing. I don't know if these were his exact words, but basically the sentiment. He said, quote, Jimmy Kimmel is next, unquote, obviously months and months before anything ever happened or was said about Charlie Kirk. He also said, they played a clip and he said it to the cameras. He said, these late night shows or these shows, all they do is hit Trump. That's all they do. You can't do that. Well, obviously you can do that. And that's exactly what late night shows do. If you remember a little story called Monica Lewinsky, they hit Clinton a lot. They hit remember how they called Bush stupid every single day?
Clinton hit Monica.
They hit all of these people. That is what late night shows do. So it's just to show that, okay, thanks, Mike. It's just to show that.
That's bad context. That's
okay. In terms of the context, it's not simply about the comments about Charlie Kirk. He's been gunning for this show. And then when they announced the suspension, he said, this is great. Jimmy Fallon, Seth Meyers, you're next. So this is his thing. He wants to go after all of these guys.
Omari, the only reason why I said it that way.
I think Omari wanted to speak.
I'm just trying to respond to that
Mike,
point.
I'm not inclined
Omari was next. Let's come after that, man.
Right, I know.
Omari was next. Come on, mute up. Go ahead, Omari.
Mike, if you want to be put in front of people in the line, maybe you shouldn't say that I'm babbling in the chat. Go ahead.
No, what we'll do is this. Lisa's going to put her Cash App up, and if you want to skip the line, you have to hit her Cash App, and then you can go ahead and do it.
Lisa don't have no Cash App.
People,
Man, foot down the throat.
I really don't.
I have a refund.
Somebody else's Cash App, though. And I'm
Can I get a refund?
Cash App up if you want to knock people down off the stage and all that kind of shit like
Don't
that.
do that, Lisa. This
It is
ain't
$5. We'll start at $5
this is not Homeboy's room.
$5 a shoot and a $10 recovery paid directly to the owner.
Stop blocking my coins, Amari.
Lisa ain't dark side.
Stop blocking my key off the stage.
There's a $5 to shoot fee and a $10 recovery fee paid directly to Lisa.
I've been
I'll get in the queue after Omari.
Lisa does plus users, VIP, get mod badges.
Oh, definitely plus members.
Yeah, I'll get in the queue after Omar because I want to respond.
You gotta pay to be a plus member of this room, so you have to pay a fee directly to Lisa. Then you're considered a actual 420 plus member. There's a difference.
Okay, go ahead, Amari.
All right, so there's a couple of points I was taking notes on because I don't want to be rude. Ashton, one, what you're seeing right now is something that was going on a decade ago almost. So I think possibly, Ted Cruz, the senator that you mentioned, has talked about the Russian collusion hoax. I think you might want to go back and listen to his videos. 600 days plus, a man was under investigation, which basically destroyed almost the first 2 years of his first term. Think about that. He was told that he was a Russian. Not anyone on this stage. I don't think anyone on this stage they had you guys were putting beer cans of something called Molar time. Everybody had Molar time. Like FBI is gonna come and take this man in handcuffs from the White House. And you've pushing that, and everybody believed that bullshit. ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC. 2 years. He lost the midterms because of that. Because he was a Russian asset. So please don't tell us about what's going on now, because we don't want to hear that shit.
I was talking about what happened 10 years ago. I'm talking about here recently.
It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the you know what.
Yeah, that's right.
And so now
that's not what I'm talking about, brother. You said stuff.
Hold on, can I finish? I took notes. You can take notes and respond back when I finish, respectfully. All right. So I don't want to hear about again on the whole show. Jimmy Kimmel. I don't care. I don't care that Jimmy Kimmel was back on. I don't care when he was off. I just don't care. I don't care that President Trump also has the First Amendment right to also tweet what the fuck he want to tweet. If you want to say that motherfucker should be
anything to stop talking about Charlie Kirk's
First Amendment
assassination.
right. His First Amendment rights don't go away. His Second Amendment rights don't go away. The Constitution also protects the President of the United States of this America.
It goes to motivation.
It doesn't matter. If he can't force people to fire them. Now, if these corporations actually, buckle, that's on them. They got to grow a backbone. As long as there's no emails or anything saying there's no quid pro quo to do this, then everything is Gucci.
Omari, I'm gonna show you where you're wrong. Hold up. I love your submission. I appreciate that. It was wonderfully put, sir. However, there's a slight issue with your submission, and I would like to highlight that, right? When you have the president that instates someone as the head of the FCC, and then he says it, and then they start carrying out his bidding, going against what's legal, right? When they start trying to imply we're going to either fine or sanction or punish you if you allow this man to express his opinion, that is 100% illegal. That is no longer, the president has free speech and so does the head of the FCC. No, he's wielding his position, not the president, but the head of the FCC. The president is indirectly. The FCC is doing it directly, and that is technically illegal. It's not my opinion, it's just a fact.
Can I get in the queue?
Let's just say you're right. That's a fact.
Let's just say I'm right. You can literally look that up and then get to me.
So my assumption is that he will be then prosecuted for some type, whichever section of law, federal law that he violated. So he should be prosecuted if it's illegal. No one's above the law, right? That's what we have since above the law.
President, that's all it's
And matter of fact, your father, he's not kings and monarchs. Yeah,
34 convictions. Ain't nobody cussing. Yeah, but you already be quiet.
But you know what, Jim and I, respectfully, I took notes and everybody was talking. I'm trying to
he can say whatever he wants to say. And as a matter of fact, because he does, he's gonna mess around and Tish James and the other man, all the people that he's gone after, their attorneys are gonna have a single day because he's now put it all in print that he goes after his enemies. And they literally are going to get up because he likes to tweet. So he can say whatever he wants. Every time he opens his mouth on Twitter and on Truth Social, he makes America weaker because he keeps showing how dumb he is. That's what's on his mind. And it's going to in trouble. But yeah, I think he can say whatever he wants. So why are you arguing that, Mike P? Nobody said he couldn't.
It's Amari. It's not Mike.
Amari in the chat said it.
And guess what? She ran on getting Trump during her campaign.
And you cut me off, so I'm gonna keep talking.
It's your room. That's fine.
It's not my room. It's our room. It's yours too. But when you're saying that he never got he didn't get convicted. The judge didn't convict him, but didn't sentence him. But he was convicted. That's what we said. So your points don't even make sense. Sometimes you could just be quiet.
Yeah, he dropped it because he knew that shit was going to get overturned by the Supreme Court, just like the other bullshit they try to play. Stop the cat. Why don't you guys be honest? Why can't you call balls or strikes this time around? He knew that was a trumped up, no pun intended, case.
It's just literally free space. It's just literally free space.
She campaigned on getting Alvin Bragg campaigned on getting. We gonna take down Donald Trump. Like, how do you campaign and not say that's illegal?
A law enforcer campaigned on prosecuting a criminal.
Wow. Like,
see your bias right there?
That's true, though.
We are innocent before guilty. That is the Constitution.
Omari, let's say that somebody, I don't want to use you because that'd be rude. I don't want to disrespect you. Let's say there was somebody that was a pedophile. Random person, they're a pedophile. And then a prosecutor takes office, and they're a notorious pedophile. Everybody knows about it, but somehow they've been able to escape the law. And then a prosecutor campaigns on, you know what, I'm going to hold this pedophile accountable. Doesn't mean that the guy's not a pedophile. Doesn't mean that the prosecutor is wrong for saying, I'm going to target this particular pedophile. It just means that the DA is written, no, I'm going to target this pedophile. They didn't create a crime. They didn't find something and make it up.
But the basic question you have to ask is, what should the role of government be?
For which he was held accountable. What you're saying shows a lack of accountability. Wow, somebody said they're going to hold him accountable for his crime. What's wrong with them? Are you serious?
This is a really strong. I mean, I don't even know why you guys bring this up.
This is a strategy by Omari in the first place, because what we were actually talking about.
I responded to Ashton,
and when the government violates free speech, what doesn't happen is like the government official doesn't go to prison. That's not what happens. Like, what happens is that there's a ruling by a judge that says that this person's free speech rights or whatever constitutional right has been violated, and they say to the person who's violating those rights that you need to stop violating those rights. And in some cases, there's some kind of action that then happens above and beyond that, right? It can essentially be remuneration, right? They may get some money. They may get their job back. There's different things that can happen when you provide student loan relief. It went through the courts. It was decided in multiple directions and ultimately decided that one of the ways that he had tried to provide student loan relief was actually illegal. And so he needed to not do that. And he didn't go to prison just because he was wrong.
And he actually tried to do it again.
You guys need basic civics to just like understand how the law works. And you keep talking and then you shift it to something completely different. Now we're talking about the 30.
Because you made a statement and then you didn't even justify your statement that he still tried to do it after the Supreme Court. And let's just
did something different, Omari.
Yeah, he did something. He put sprinkles on shit. That's what he did. So
that's what you think. That's your opinion.
So let's hold on. Let's put a ball to it.
And the thing that you're doing is you're pretending like the law isn't complicated. So it is often complicated. However,
that's not complicated.
What is it?
The Supreme Court said you can't do it. And he tried to redo it again.
Do you know that he won in lower court, Omari?
The Supreme Court said you cannot.
Do you know that he won in lower court?
And the Supreme Court. I know what the Supreme Court said.
Okay, but it's the lower
court. Let's put a ball in this. Hold on, we're derailed.
Stop. No, you're going to stop for a second.
Okay, go ahead and finish what you're going to say.
If the lower court ruled one way and a higher court rules another way, that's almost the definition of it being complicated. If judges who are trained in the law, who are literally in their positions to adjudicate, disagree, then there is complexity. What there is not complexity is the government shutting down speech. It's cut and dried. There's no question about it. There's no gray area here. This is a gross violation of free speech. And the idea that you're dancing around this just either shows A, that you're ignorant, or B, you're disingenuous.
Okay, you went back to free speech. I'm going to put a ball on this. All of the, you guys have been on this app for a while, saying the same thing. Everyone's been on this app. And guess what? You haven't beat the man. You haven't beat him. You haven't beat us. You haven't beat him.
Yes, you don't.
We beat you. We have to, hold on, let me finish. I'm going to put a ball. I'm going to let Jay go. We beat you 2 out of the 3 elections. We took out Biden in June of 2024. Destroyed him, got him out the debate, got him the fuck out of there, right? Then we beat you in November. So this stupid guy, this guy you call dumb and all this other shit, he beat you guys.
Yep.
So you guys can't, and it's over.
Let me Your argument is Mike Trump's right.
It doesn't matter.
You're an authoritarian piece of shit.
We have destroyed
This is why you can't be tolerated.
This is why I win elections, because you don't know anything about what voters really care about.
And there's a chance you might not win.
When you say we, I assume you're including yourself and Trump. Is that right?
Anyone who voted for Trump beat the people who didn't vote for Trump. We beat you guys fair and square. 77 million of us destroyed you.
And it wasn't close. Like Kamala keeps saying it was close. It wasn't close.
You're so funny.
And they don't want to talk about that lie too. She keeps lying.
It was the closest.
Yeah, 1%. 1%. It's pretty close. Y'all try to quit that because after the election, now y'all didn't check the numbers no more because y'all dumb. Y'all didn't check after all the numbers were counted because y'all dumb.
It took California 3 months to count their votes.
The total number of
Not
votes.
one swing state.
And the way the Electoral College works is important here. And it was 200,000 votes across 3 states. If you don't believe the math, and you can do math, you can double check these numbers. It was 200,000 votes. Thank you very much.
And it still took California to count their votes. I think they're still counting votes in California.
To do with it.
They're still counting votes in California.
To do with it.
I think they're still counting votes in Iowa.
But Donald Trump is still counting 2020. So what's the point?
What does any of this have to do with?
He's still talking about his
I'm so confused.
2020. So what's your point? What's your point?
He feels that he was cheated. But what I'd like to say, and
He feels like he was cheating.
Hasn't happened. He's still talking about it.
I think he lost fair square to the federal league.
Let's hear from Jay because we haven't heard from Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
Well, no,
I was just very confused.
You can go after Jay, Mike. Go ahead.
I was in the queue after. I'm all right now. I got it.
Do I have to move you down again? Please let Jay speak.
Okay, so
I'm gonna go to Mike. Be paid. Control yourself.
I was in the queue and I was just thinking, like, I don't think nobody.
to be fair,
Y'all hear Lisa talking, right? Y'all hear Lisa talking?
Hold on for a second. Can you guys just give me
Y'all hear Lisa talking?
You guys just give me a second. I just came up with a novel idea. And I know that some of you guys are going to push back on it. But I think we need one MAGA as a mod. You guys agree or disagree?
No.
Don't boom the room, Lisa.
Lisa,
Yeah, they'll boom your room.
Hey, Lisa, you know what you just said? Lisa, the equivalent of what you just said is I think at some point the clowns need to run a circus. Like, no.
No, Lisa. I wouldn't even be
Lisa, it's just that I want to prioritize voices. It's just that I want to prioritize people who don't speak a lot. That's all.
The queue was the queue, right?
Alright, so I'll go after Mike just to be fair.
The queue was
Listen, Mike was waiting for a fat ass minute. Let Mike go and I'll go after him.
Okay, fine. Jay's deciding to generous, so we'll hear from Mike.
I think people will be with mine.
Let me go, because fuck that. Yeah, let me go.
Basically, what it is, I would love to be able to just respond to my live real fast. Again, there's no issues with it at all. But when you spoke about, I know, just mute it up, because I can't put the feedback. Yeah, can somebody tell her to mute up, please?
Let's
pray to play now.
What did you just say,
Let's go, fam. Come on, bro. You take this to my first.
There has to be a level of decorum. Why is he on?
It's not bothering you. You're right. It might either go or don't. It's not bothering you.
You can ride my mic when I'm off my stuff.
Play the game.
Hey, you about to get dropped. You just say something.
I just got muted, but y'all couldn't hear.
Okay, go ahead. Who's next?
Okay, Brooklyn and then Jay, or was it Jay and then Brooklyn?
See what they doing in your room, right?
You did.
You muted my mic, but you couldn't mute her mic. Okay.
Mike, if you have a point to make, you can make it. Go ahead.
You're being disruptive. I'm going to drop you, and Lisa can be mad at me. Either make your point or don't.
I mean, the rules are the rules.
Give me a grand man.
Okay, go ahead. That's it. Go ahead. Who's next? No, I didn't. I dropped him. Who's next?
Jay.
You have to moderate the room and keep it moving.
Please go ahead, Jay.
Jay, go ahead.
Yeah, not just what you're like at the same.
Okay, Brooklyn, go ahead. Jay, make this look good.
Just wanted to say about the that y'all doing it again. Y'all always say y'all talking to people that don't give a fuck. Like, these people are literal retards. Like, and
Come in real tell us it was with we've been open all day. I've been having
can I finish? Can I finish?
I know if you start off telling me that
Just say y'all doing it. I didn't say that. I didn't say nothing about your
you're doing it again. What about
just saying that y'all wasting y'all breath arguing with these niggas. Like, just have a conversation with them at the end of the day.
That's what we're doing. No one's up.
Like, you're not. Don't talk to me. I already told you to stop talking to me.
Brooklyn, you know I love you.
Don't please let me finish.
Okay, fine.
Thank you. Just have a regular conversation with these idiots, because they're really not. They're not hearing you out. All I hear is you, Democrats. I guess that's what y'all trying to prove to them that y'all right, and y'all are right, but they don't care, right? So just have to talk and keep moving. I said, let me just leave.
You just don't know how to debate, and that's the problem. You should stay and learn from us.
What am I debating? What am I debating? And who am I debating with?
You just want to have a human centipede conversation. They don't want human centipede in 420. That's they don't want the human centipede.
When you and the white beards and all of them other rooms, or all of them Republicans, you have a regular centered conversation.
I spend 99% of my time in here. 99% of my time.
Okay. I don't know why you're talking to me.
Because you need to just have a conversation. It's easy. You're an adult now. You can have a conversation in the Tories right. It's not that hard.
You're spreading misinformation, and you're not a real person. You're an adult that acts like a child. And every time
I'm educating you when you call me a child.
You're not educated in anything.
Amar, stay on mute.
King Pill was
I
wrong.
got this, Dad. I don't need your help.
You're going to stay on mute.
She needs to learn. She needs to understand that, please.
When y'all come up here, all you niggas are struggling, and y'all on here to make yourselves feel better, like y'all winning something, and y'all not. Y'all never won anything in y'all life. And the closest y'all ever got to winning was an orange man winning the fucking presidency while taking on your rights. So if this is winning to y'all, then I definitely know that y'all
I'm children and their grandbaby. I'm winning in life. I don't know. I created life.
You're a loser in life.
I created life. I'm winning. This is just Clubhouse. This might be winning for you, but not for me.
This is.
Okay, we're not here to insult each other.
No, we're not going to bring personality in the
Because I will really let you have it. Don't do
No, it's not about that. It's not about us. I treat you so well.
Don't do it, because you already know they're going to censor me after I get in your ass. So
Okay, you want me, you why would you drop me down when we're having a conversation?
You need to stop your line.
I'm gonna go there, what it is.
I'm gonna Brooklyn. Like, yeah, there's no need to go not that deep, bro. Like, why do you?
1 second.
I want her to stay Molly. Talk to her. That's my point. So just give me a second. Brooklyn, come back up. Finish saying what you're saying. Omar, you can go back if she's thanks much. Yeah, for sure. She comes back. I'll give her the mic, and then I just want to continue. I like Brooklyn a lot, y'all. She comes back on stage.
On mute, but I know I was talking. You kept. Okay, you know what? Let me just do this for you guys, okay? I love all you guys to death. I really do. I really, really do. And I give you a lot of free range here. But there's certain people that I do not want dropped. And Amari is one of them. I don't want him dropped. He spends a lot of time in here. He contributes to the whole lot. Amari can talk the entire fucking shift. And I appreciate him contributing to the rooms as that other voice. Without him being in this room to push back, it's a lot of dead air. So I attribute. And you guys gotta understand that. And until you contribute as much as Amari and Deborah and all the people who are always and Gemini and all the people who are always off mic making this room what it is, step back. It's crazy. Mari doesn't do anything wrong. He is the most gentle MAGA that I've ever met. Okay, he's not annoying like Infinity. He doesn't hate me like Notorious. I mean, just why you guys want to pick on Amari?
He's antagonizing Brooklyn.
No, he was not.
Antagonizing. Have you guys heard antagonizing when people come on the stage and